It's been said that our lives are like landscapes. Each one of us has a world that we know. Sometimes our worlds collide and everything changes. The sign over the gate said welcome, but I couldn't help but wonder, what was I being welcomed to? Everyone's so different. Apparently I'm far more entertaining than my friends back home let on. To be honest, it's kind of like waking up to find out that you're the main character in someone else's favorite sitcom. I guess we all had our opinions on what the next few weeks would be like. For me, it was like climbing up a hill. With each step, my perspective changed. Gradually, I gained a broader view of a world that until now, I knew nothing about. Like with any adventure, there was both excitement in the discovery of things I never knew and the all-too-human fear of the unknown. The truth is, I had no idea what I was in for. On the surface, there's a stillness to this place that is often lost in the hurried pace of my life back home. One thing I discovered is that you can actually hear the day waking up. It's beautiful here, and I find myself consistently reminded that our lives are much like the landscape that surrounds me, full of hills to be climbed and valleys to be crossed. The days passed, and with each experience, another step up, a different view. I found myself wondering what I would see at the top of this hill I was climbing. happen all at once. But as my normal world collided with this unfamiliar one, I began to realize that wrong and different aren't the same. And I guess normal is just a matter of opinion. Even though I've never been much for school, I'm so grateful for the time we spent in the classroom discovering the many facets of life in another culture, in this different world. I was surprised to find that most of the work being done here was by normal people just like me. How often have I been asked what I want to be when I grow up? I began to realize that what matters most is not what I want to be, but what I'm willing to become. There was so much I didn't know, but as I learned, I began to dream about where I might one day be. As big as the landscape of my own life seems to be at times, I realized it is only a tiny part of a much broader one. The steps I took toward the top of my little hill led me to a clearer and clearer view of all the other landscapes around me. They blended together into a vast plain that stretched beyond my sight.
Steer the Holy Spirit, control the Holy Spirit, and plant the fruits of the Holy Spirit, and I can use your life when you need let me go out.
I remember the day I met Bobo. Even though he couldn't have stood more than 5 feet tall, I remember feeling as though I was in the presence of a giant. I remember standing next to him after hearing his story. I remember feeling very small. That was the day I reached the top of that hill I was climbing. And standing there, I saw many hills still further beyond me. As I looked back on what I had learned, a question arose in my heart. And looking forward to what I could not ignore, I realized I had so little to offer. I knew that God was already here, and if I wanted to, I could be a part of what He was already doing. The question for me and for all of us is simple. Will I?